Janasena అధ్యక్షుడు పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ తో పోలాండ్ రాయబారి ఆడమ్ Burakovsky సమావేశమయ్యారు. పవన్ ను కలుసుకోవడానికి ప్రత్యేకంగా హైదరాబాద్ వచ్చిన ఆడమ్ జనసేన కార్యాలయానికి వెళ్లారు. ఆయనకు పవన్ సాదర స్వాగతం పలికారు. 20 మంది పోలాండ్ విద్యార్థులు కూడా ఆడమ్ వెంట ఉన్నారు. రాజకీయాలపై పవన్ అభిప్రాయాలను వారు తెలుసుకున్నారు. నవంబర్లో పవన్ ఇంగ్లాండ్ పర్యటనకు వెళ్లిన సమయంలో కొందరు పోలాండ్ వాసులు ఆయన్ను కలుసుకున్నారు. ఆ సమయంలో పోలాండ్ రాయబారి పవన్ గురించి తెలుసుకున్నారు. పోలాండ్ రాయబారి ఆడమ్ బురకోవస్కీకి జనసేనాని పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ భేటీ అయ్యారు. అనంతరం వీరిద్దరూ మీడియా సమావేశం ఏర్పాటు చేశారు. ఇప్పుడు లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
There is no need for her to depend on anyone. I think these are the two issues which I would like to focus on, which I keep focusing on. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Cosma Paul if he has please go ahead and ask one question.
Hello, sir. My name is Cosma. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a student of one of the Bednarska schools. My question is how and when your adventure with being an actor started? Like, what was the moment and why?
Because I failed in my education. I lost. If I would have studied well like you, maybe I would have ended up in some kind of I would have been a professor. But consistent and I failed in my education. But my interest was in very holistic education I wanted. The kind of education I wanted, Indian schools were not providing that point of time. So I was learning on my own, and eventually by 22, 23, when I looked back, I said there was no concrete academic background for me. So I don't know how to make a living. So my brother was being an actor then, even now. So he asked me, why don't you try films? So that was my last option to be in films. So I immediately jumped, and I burned all the, I really misused all the opportunities. So this was the only opportunity, that was the only opportunity I had in my hand, so I had given my best. That's how the history of it. Thank you. That's the history.
Though he often humbles us out by mentioning about the fact that he's a school dropout, he's extremely voracious reader. He humiliates us by the kind of stories that he talks about. In fact, the Jamnagar, the Maharaja story that he just talked about is a story that he told us a couple of months back. And I didn't realize that it could be so sooner that we could get to see His Excellency here. And you should definitely ask him about his unconventional education background.
You should ask, sir.
Sure. So I'd like to request one of our teammate, Mr. Shiva, to quickly ask a question that he was just talking to. A lot of us had a lot of questions about Poland. Our understanding about Poland largely comes from the stories that we read about, Maharaja's humanity. Because end of the day, it's the humanity that triumphed over all the evil, hatred, war, and all. And that's the greatest example and testament of what India stands for, right? So
Take the question, and why don't you ask it myself? No, why don't you ask it?
I'm open for any questions in Poland.
The question that one of our teammates has was, when we see your profile, that we were reading our profile, the one quick thing that caught our attention was that you have a very good education background and you've been a professor at political science. So given the fact that we're also bringing a lot of students, we wanted to understand how do you see India and Poland collaborate on education. We have a different education systems as such, but since you are well-traveled and all, we wanted to pick your minds on how do you see that thing and collaboration.
So first of all, I'm a graduate of Maharaja School in Warsaw, one of the first years of graduation, because the school emerged after the fall of communism in Poland. But the education in Maharaja School in Warsaw gave me a very good background and really open-mindedness. I remember that when I was a student at the school, I also participated in a similar program, but with Berlin, Germany. So I'm very glad that the geographical horizon of the school is now bigger and touches all the world. And as I said, I'm looking forward for this cooperation with Hyderabad Public School, which is I consider one of the best in the whole Asia. If you see the list of the alumni of the school, you might see the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, CEO of Adobe, Shantanu Narayan, and many others who are the top of the world. So this is a very good project, and I'm sure that the outcome will be very satisfactory. Concerning my education, after graduating the Maharaja School in Warsaw, I also made a MA in History and Eastern Studies, but in Poland, as Eastern, we consider Russia and Eastern Europe, and then I started to. I got interested in India. I came here for the first time as a tourist, and then I started learning Hindi, and also I started to become more and more interested in Indian recent history and political life. And I made my PhD, and then I became a professor of political science. I published with a friend of mine, Krzysztof Iwanek, a very long book on recent Indian history. And I'm very glad to be here in India, in Hyderabad, and I'm looking forward to more projects.
Another question that one of our other teammates has asked is, we have read that you're a fluent speaker in Hindi.
So Hindi mein jawab दूं?
अगर दे सके तो जरूर जरूर I'll actually wait for our good friend Sri Arham Khan ji आपको एक प्रश्न पूछेंगे. He must be somewhere here. Okay.
आराम जी आप पूछे ना.
Arham ji एक
इम्तिहान है, हाँ? परीक्षा.
इधर आए ना.
A very good morning to you, Your Excellency. मुझे सुन के बड़ी खुशी हुई कि आप हिंदी, उर्दू नुमा हिंदी भी बोल लेते हैं.
हाँ.
कितनी अच्छी बोलते हैं, थोड़ा सा कुछ और बोलिए आप हिंदी में.
तो 20 साल से पहले मैं पहली बार भारत में था, मैं टूरिस्ट था ऐसे ज़माने में, और उसके बाद तो मैं सिर्फ हिंदी का सीखना शुरू की, और मैंने तकरीबन 300 फिल्में देखा, और भी मुझे बहुत पसंद हिंदुस्तानी गाना है, और इस ही फिल्म गाने तो मैं सीखा, और अभी तो मैं एक महीने से पहले एम्बेसडर राजदूत हो गया, और हर रोज तो मैं बेहतर बोलता हूँ.
I think you have. I feel that you have exceeded all my expectations. वैसे आपको कुछ हिंदी की शायरी या हिंदी का कोई गाना या कुछ इस तरह की कोई चीज याद है आप?
हाँ, बहुत बड़ा, मिसाल के तौर पर
कोई भी एक आध लाइन.
प्यार हुआ इकरार हुआ. ओके.
अब एक सवाल मैं इंग्लिश में करता हूं. आई वुड लाइक टू नो, बिफोर मीटिंग पवन कल्याण गारू एंड आफ्टर मीटिंग, what is your opinion?
Before meeting Mr. Pawan Kalyan, I've heard that he's very generous. I knew that he really contributed to this cooperation with Hyderabad Public School. And also I knew that Mr. Pawan Kalyan is a very well-known actor of Indian movie industry. And after this long conversation, I discovered that also Mr. Pawan Kalyan has a very brilliant mind, and very full of ideas, And it's really great that we have one idea together to make a cooperation between Polish and Telugu film industries.
True. We'll do that, sir. I think it is needed. The rest of the world, I think, especially from if you start with Poland, I think. I'm sorry. It would be a nice idea to expand it, our understanding further in terms of cinema and cultural understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, for your fantastic Hindi speech. He's often our guru when it comes to Hindi. We often go to Arhamji for any of those Hindi things. And now he may actually call you a good student than what I am.
So maybe I can add Sare Duniya se acha Hindustan Hamara.
Fantastic. Thank you. It actually is. The fact that India extended its generosity and warmth during the war-stricken times of Second World War, despite of the fact that India itself was fighting for its own internal battles, whether it's the struggle for independence or a struggle for an identity as such for India, or the challenges of the famine and drought, the generosity and what has expanded, what the Maharaja has extended is what I believe should be called just simply humanity. And humanity triumphed over all the evils. Like today, the fact that we are sitting all together, I think these are all testaments of what people can do when cultures were bridged. And it's always about people. And as part of even our political philosophy internally, it's always people that we look at. It's not the caste, color, creed, community. It's if you strip them off, it's all people, and people are full of ideas. People are full of potential. How do we tap and harness into such potential of people? I mean, these young minds, if they are really harnessed, they could be serving the world, not just Poland or India. Why should they just be limited to their own geographical boundaries? Maharaja didn't do that. The fact that you're sitting here, giving it all back, the credit back to Maharaja, I think there's a lot we can accomplish when we come together as people. Thank you. You did talk about such stuff. Thank you.
I can, as a comment, I can say that in Poland we strongly believe in freedom, democracy, and peace. So, Azadi, Loktantra, Shanti. So we share common values with India, really. And I'm glad that one of the best Warsaw Polish high schools is cooperating with one of the best high schools in India.
Thank you. I have an interesting question from my young friend Olga. She has a question for Mr. Pawan Kalyan. You may raise and please come here.
So my question is, I would like to know how you use your film career to promote your political ideas.
No, I don't do that. I just do films, and this is entirely what I'm doing. The second topic is entirely different. I don't mix both. They're two different things. For me, films is very important because if you look at as we are exploring the power of cinema, the power of cinema is something like I believe artists are any culture, we are cultural bridges. And any kind of idea about first thing would be is so we're talking about me and His Excellency. We're talking about the power of cinema. Any other idea would go into the mind first, but here cinema is something which straight away speaks to your heart. And in that way, any issue, if you put it in a nice dramatic way, which would appealing manner, cinema can take anything, and cinema has the great power, and that's how I look at it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Pawan Kalyan, one more question for you. How new technologies and new media change the way you communicate to your public?
That's a blessing and that's a great blessing in a way. If you, anything, I think, would be, if you use it in the right perspective, it's a great weapon. New technologies in terms of communication, in terms of other aspects. But when I say in terms of communication, this has become a great advantage. Today we are able to communicate with each other or just with over a simple smartphone, and that really, it is binding as well. Maybe once we were far away from different, apart from quite thousands of kilometers away. Today we are oceans away, but today we are able to communicate extremely well, and we can use this technology, and we can, whatever the new world offers to us, it can really bind people, and it can really bridge the cultural gaps. And that would be how I view it as technology. Of course, it depends on the individual who uses it. And if the majority of individuals could use it for constructive purposes, I think that is really a blessing.
Thank you. I also know that your wife is Russian. Do you know any Russian words?
Здравствуйте. Хорошо. And what are the words? And we keep speaking. I keep understanding a lot because my daughter speaks to her mother. So I keep understanding. I know because I don't know how to respond, but in general I understand everything. Respect the culture, the language, and it is more nearer to same Poland. So that would be very nice. So I keep using once in a while. I think I had picked up the right words to go to a restaurant and to order food and Devushka something like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Olga, for that interesting question about how much Mr. Kalyan knows about Russian. They were extremely interested as to how much Russian you actually know. Thank you.